G'day folks and welcome to this unboxing of Vantage. This is a game designed by Jamie Stegmaier, published by Stonemaier Games. It is a 1 to 6 player game, but the very first thing I'll say is that I would not recommend this with 5 or 6 players. 4 players is a bit of a stretch. It is best at 1 to 3 player counts. That is very important. Your experience, the joy and satisfaction you'll get will change, will deteriorate with more players above 3, I'd say. So 4 is a stretch. I will also say I have been playing my friend's copy of this. He came over, we played it, I loved it. I borrowed his copy. I've been playing it many times, and I decided to buy my own copy. So here we go as I crack open the shrink. So what kind of game is this? I'm tempted to say it's a choose your own adventure style of game, but that really undersells the quality of the experience. I hear choose your own adventure, and I've played other choose your own adventure games, and they're okay. This is far superior to think of choose your own adventure on heaps of steroids, taken to just an exemplary new level. So this is your kind of administration board. On this chart in the middle, you will track your health, hearts, your time, timer, and your morale, a star. Okay, so you want to keep those high. You don't want those 3 core attributes for you to deteriorate. Each player will manage their attributes separately. You don't want them to reach 0. If anything reaches 0, you read the mission entry in the storybook. You will also have your pool of challenge dice, and this is a core mechanic in the game. You'll create this pool with 8 dice, plus 2 per player, and that's your pool for the entire game. When you roll these dice to conduct challenges, and typically they'll eventually end up in the challenge dice penalty area. Once you need to roll dice and you don't have enough in this pool, you reset the dice, they all come back to your challenge pool, and you start all over again. And then there's an area for your missions, there's an area for your destiny, and this is all about how you win the game. You can achieve a mission victory, you can achieve a destiny victory, you can achieve an epic victory by completing both. And this will evolve as the game evolves. This is two-sided, so if you find it easy to put your mission destiny down the bottom, you can do that. Just a bit of flexibility there. And then this is a grid. Okay, so what are you doing here? I'll point out this is the cutouts for the various tokens you acquire for currency. This is basically money in the game, which doesn't play a huge role, but plays a role. So you are playing as a character. Wow, that's really frustrating. My rulebook is a bit mangled. I can see that down the bottom there. So when it was put in the box, it was smashed. Doesn't matter so much for reasons I'll explain in a moment. You are playing as a character, and I can tell you the characters are all up the back here. So you'll pick or randomly draw one of 6 characters corresponding to a color and one of the core tokens attributes. Okay, so you'll pick blue, purple, orange, green, yellow, and red. And basically, these characters lean towards these attributes. So if you pick the blue character, you'll generally lean towards moving. If you pick the purple character, the navigator, you'll generally lean towards looking or exploring. If you pick orange, you'll generally move towards engaging, interacting, talking, trading with people, things in the environment. Green is help, healing, assisting, etc. Yellow is taking, stealing, removing, grabbing, etc. And red is overpowering, attacking, seizing, etc. Really aggressive. So these are the 6 characters in the game. These you will play. Each person playing will play as one of these characters. And you'll start each game by basically by turning to the corresponding section. Where is it? Let me find it for you. Here we go. Every game starts here, in your spaceship, where you are being summoned to explore this planet. Suddenly, this is not a spoiler, every game starts the same way. Something goes wrong, and you have to grab a character, grab the corresponding card, and then roll to see where you land on this mysterious planet. So you will then, a few moments into your very first game, you will draw a location card. And these are the location cards. Three big decks, about 1,000 location cards in the game. So let me show you, again, a bit of a spoiler here, but really I'm not going to show too many cards. Here we go. Let's look at 438. A typical location, and they all have the same kind of layout, will look something like this. There'll be an image. Now, only you are allowed to look at this location card. If you're in location 438, you are the only person allowed to look at location 438. You can describe this location to other players. So you can say, well, look, I'm in a waterway. There's a boat in the foreground. Looks like there's some lava in the background. You try to describe this to fellow players. It's a cooperative game. You're working together towards whatever your mission or destiny may be. On your turn, you have 3 choices. 1, you're doing one of these 6 core actions. Notice they're color coordinated. They correspond with these 6 colors here. You can do an action on a card. So gradually you will acquire items throughout the course of the game. And so these type of cards, and they may have, let me try and grab one at random. No, they're all sealed away. Let me grab a deck. Okay, so these cards may have, like this one, consume actions on them. So you can do an action on a card. And this is an orange action. No, sorry, this is a yellow action corresponding to the yellow take. It's basically consume a taste of the sparkling, swirling air inside the tiny jar. So you are consuming whatever is inside this jar. So you can take an action on a card, or you can take a depart action, which is where you move to a new location, and you'll basically go to that location. So you go from 438 to, if you head east, 486. If you head south, 437. You can move north or west, but it's a more hazardous action, and you'll need to basically roll the challenge die, and it's riskier, it's more dangerous. So yeah, generally you can only do one action per card. So if you arrive at this location, on your next turn around, you pick one of the 6 actions, and you are locked into that action. You cannot, for example, hijack the boat, and then on your next turn, decide to climb a mountain. If you decide to hijack this boat, that is your one and only action in this location. Next turn around, you cannot. These are locked away, basically. You can't do anything else. So you really, as I said, choose your own adventure in a sense. Once you pick a path or an action, you are locked into that. You can't undo, you can't rewind, you can't generally choose. Some actions will let you do so. Now, when you pick an action, let's say I decide to assist on 438, you head to the storybook and you read basically paragraph 438, you assist the sailor, you read the text, and it will guide you towards perhaps additional actions, choices, a very, very wide range of activities. So there are several of these storybooks guiding the narrative, but I highly recommend the Vantage website from Stone My Games, because it automates all this in a digitized web-based app. You simply type in 438 green action, click it, and it shows you. It basically gives you this text option. It's fantastic to use. We do not use the storybooks at all. Okay, so what do you get in the box? You get, wow, thousands, I want to say thousands of cards. There's about 1,000 different locations, and there's close to 1,000 different item cards, items, abilities, characters, NPCs that you interact with. The way this works is, as I said, you'll have your character, and they are at the back here. You'll have your character card effectively looking something similar to this in the center of your grid, and you will build a 3x3 grid of new items and abilities around your character. And that enhances your ability to respond to the challenges of these environments. On each turn, it's pretty simple. You pick an action to do, you do the action, you follow it through, you explore new worlds until you either fail, you achieve your mission, you achieve your destiny, or you achieve an epic victory. It really is a huge world. Like I said, thousands of locations in any given game. When you sit down to play, it takes about an hour, 2 hours. In any given game, you'll be exploring a very finite area of that world, and then the game ends, and you've played through an experience, an adventure, and there is so much you can do. Every single game I have played is vastly different. In one game, I explored a series of islands and I was stealing amulets. In another game, I built a farm. I literally built a farm and I was growing plants and harvesting these plants. In another game, I was exploring a city and just talking to different sentients in this city. In another game, I was off adventuring around the jungle. Hugely different environments, hugely different experiences, different choices on these cards, which I really won't delve into too much, but they are, every card is a little bit different. You can see here, hail or ask, navigate around the islands, or observe whatever is on this next card, which I won't spoil for anyone. The environment is remarkably diverse, and having played, we're approaching close to a dozen games of this now. Every game has been different. We're always exploring different environments. Sometimes we come across some areas we've been before briefly, but a thousand different locations roughly to explore. A lot of replayability. By the time you come back to having seen everything and coming to this location perhaps a second time in your 20th game, you've forgotten what was here, and you can do a different action. And maybe the first time you were here in your first game, you hailed the boat. Maybe the next time you come around in your 20th game, you might climb the mountain, and takes you down a completely different path. In the 40th time you play this game, you might navigate around the islands, and it takes you down a completely different story. So a lot of depth, replayability via the roughly 1,000 different locations you're exploring, times the many different actions you can choose from here, times the many different types of encounters and items and abilities and non-player character sentience you'll interact with. So, as I said, it is a type of choose your own adventure where the paths are incredibly diverse and I want to say almost, well, not quite infinite, but really huge. You think 1,000 times 6,000 different choices on these cards, times the 1,000 different items you'll have. Every time you sit down and play this game, it will be a different story, a different experience. The art is amazing. I really want to kind of share this without spoiling too much. Just to show you, these are some of the flora. Flora is blue. Here we have some more flora. Then we have some items. These are red weapons. Again, they are color-coded with this action. So that is a claw trident. And then we'll have, what's this? This is an item accessory. I don't know what that is. These are really unique types of items. Come back to the beginning here, and we have like a tent that you find that you can use. You can upgrade this to a cottage. Okay, I don't want to spoil too much because exploring this world and and for the record, I've never seen those items before. Those several items that I just shared with you, I've never seen in the many games that we've played. Okay, so this is how deep this game is. There is such an incredible depth. So the joy in the game is really in exploring these worlds, in finding something different to do, in sitting down in a session, picking your character. All right, so next game I play, I might be the healer. This guy likes to help people. This is not his character card, but it's color-coded. And I might say, all right, I'm going to go out and see where I land. And look, really, you don't have any path from the start. You choose your path and it evolves as you play. I might try and really focus on working with the sentience in this environment and helping them and healing them and seeing if they'll join me. Or I might build a shelter and set up a shop and build wares and sell them. Or I might just try and explore, I don't know. Every game is different. Don't know where you're going to land on this planet. You don't know what you'll encounter, but it evolves. And every game we've played has been fascinating. There are so many different ways each game can end, and that's part of the joy. Why may you not like this? Principally because of the downtime. With 4 or more players, there is, every player you add above yourself, you can play this solo, fantastic solitaire experience. 2 players, great, back and forth. 3 players, you start to experience that downtime, and it can be slow. If one player is taking a very long turn, they're exploring, they pick a location. Sometimes the locations will say you can continue your turn, pick something else to do. So they might navigate to a new location, which takes even longer. So it could be a bit of a downtime. You add a 4th person, it's even slower. I have not played with this with 5 or 6, but the downtime will be even worse. And I would not recommend this with 5 or 6 for that reason principally. So that's why you may not like this if you have too many people playing the game. I recommend it with 1 to 3, 4 at a stretch. Besides that, why may you not like this? Why may you not like this? Maybe you don't like the sense that it is open. The endings, the goals, the destinies are open. There is no sort of set... You sit down and play a game, you don't know how the game is going to end. That will evolve as you play. Your mission will evolve. Your destiny may evolve. You may have multiple... I don't want to spoil too much, but that is it's an open-ended ending. You sit down, you don't know how long your game is going to take. And that could be a challenge for some people. There's a lot of reading. A lot of these... As I said, this is the green storybook. Every time you do an action, you're basically reading 1 paragraph. Bite-sized chunks. You can see they're relatively short. Not on your turn. You're not reading a lot, but reading is core to the game. And again, the app is brilliant for this. I would not recommend using these books. Okay, we don't do this at all. I recommend getting it's not an app, sorry, it's the web-based interface. You click on Storybook, you just type in your location and what color you're doing, and it pops up that entry. There's also, so I haven't talked about this, but there's the Book of Vantages. So the name Vantage, it takes its name from a vantage point. You can climb various structures like this mountain, and this might, when you climb the mountain, it might say open to a certain page of this Book of Vantages. You flick it open, and it gives you a view of the surroundings, and you use that to kind of orient yourself. You'll also uncover secrets in this environment. So there's a book of secrets here, which will, again, I don't want to spoil this, but it'll reveal, really unique aspects of this world. Hopefully, I have sort of captured the essence of this game for you in this unboxing. This is, as I said, a huge deck of cards. What else do you have? You have, I haven't really delved into these, but you have various, the tokens that you use. There are challenge dice and there are skill dice. There's various other little elements to this. I haven't really delved into the mechanics of tests that much. But the focus really is on this gameplay, exploring this world and developing your character and their attributes and their items and who they are. It is a wonderful game. Every time I play it, it's new and exciting and a joy to play. So if you have not come across this yet, please, and it looks of interest, please check out Vantage by Stonemaier Games. Thanks for watching, folks, and take care.